Sluggish economic growth and disruptions in the mining sector last year means there's less money in the bank for government. Instead of drastically cutting back on spending or raising taxes, the finance minister has decided to borrow more money. While servicing debt is going to cost almost 100 billion rand, analysts say he had little choice. But they point out that this year's review of all taxes may mean taxpayers will have to cough up a lot more in the future.
The expectations coming into the speech were that we're going to see some tax increases. Now, there is some tax relief at the lower end, but there was expectation that it would be accompanied by some tax increases at the top end. That didn't happen. It might happen.
While the Treasury's announcement that there'll be tax relief for small businesses is welcomed, critics say it's not enough.
I think the environment right now for small firms is really harsh, and if we want to see job creation, that has to change. I don't know that this budget was so strong on that particular point.
The recent unrest in the mines has unsettled foreign investors, and the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry says government needs to do a lot more in order to give investors confidence.
We haven't been very careful about the messages we send into global investors, but we are heavily dependent on those investors. So the minister stopped short of that acknowledgement that we are still heavily reliant on global funding. And every decision we make, every policy decision we make has to be made in the context of that reliance. And in recent months, we've been a bit frivolous about that investor dependency.
But the resounding message from all analysts is that government needs to spend its money more efficiently.
Before government even starts looking at all those nice-to-haves, the government has to ensure that those resources within its direct control are very efficiently, robustly managed, and that there's very little room for slippage in expenditure, in poor controls. And I think the minister's outlined a number of measures that, whilst they're going to take some time to kick into the system and show benefit, will go down well with observers in the market and business people.
Gordhan says government remains committed to financing its major infrastructure ambitions and the national health insurance. But as they still remain in the planning phases, they are not making a huge dent in his budget yet. PAULA, Parliament.